Hey, thanks for joining me and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendall and this week we're going to have a look at making a really quick and easy drawstring bag, which is a free pattern by Moda. With this bag as well, you can put a letter on the front so you can personalize it as a gift for whoever you like. This video, however, we will only be focusing on making the bag itself, as the letters are quite simple with half square triangles, sew and flips for whichever letter you choose. If you're lucky enough to have people with easy letters like E, I and H, then you only have to deal with squares and rectangles. Anyway, without much further ado, go over to the Moda website, link in the description below, download this week's free pattern. Come back here and I'll show you how to do it. As I said in the intro, we are just focusing on making the actual bag in this video and not the letters, but you'll see there the Spell It With Fabric pattern from Moda is free on their website, and I have put a link in the description box below where you get that and the drawstring bag instructions together, which is using Pat's link that she would have supplied in her video. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and made a K for Kendall, and we're just going to begin the construction of the actual bag. So from your feature fabrics, you would have cut some small strips and one long narrow strip. We need to just frame our letter by putting the two wider strips on each side and then attaching our long thin strip to the top. We'll press out towards the strips in each instance. So we'll attach one to each side first, press those out, and then attach our top one and press that up or out towards that strip of fabric. We now just need to grab the large rectangle, which is the last remaining piece of our feature or outside fabric, and attach that on the bottom here, creating one large rectangle or strip, and that is the outside of the bag done. Once we've sewn this into place, I just pressed it towards the solid piece of fabric because that's the path of least resistance. It's now time to grab the strips that you cut for the casing as per the pattern, and we need to just do a double fold on the end of each of these so that our raw edges are all encased and hidden. Now you'll see me here, I draw a line that is half an inch in, which is what I meant to do, but when I actually fold it in, I fold it twice half an inch, thus taking an inch off here. You just need to fold it in 1/4 and then 1/4 again so that the raw edge is encased. So you'll see when we get to the end that I have quite a large gap on either side of at the top of my bag, but it's not really a big issue and I'm okay with it. But yeah, just try and turn this under 1/4 of an inch twice so that you're only taking half an inch off the casing fabric, and then secure that with some stitches. We're then just going to fold this casing strip in half and with the wrong sides together and give it a quick press to set all of that in place. We now need to just center these casing strips at either end, the shorter ends of our large rectangle that we created before with our letter on, and this in effect is the top of the bag, because this large strip will actually be folded in half. Once we've got these nice and centered, we can secure them in place with a pin, and then you can base this on to begin with before we move to the next step. Or what I did, I just pinned it in place, making sure the pins were away from where I would be sewing. I then grabbed the lining fabric and put it right sides together with my piece that you are adding this strip here to, and I sewed along the top and the bottom to just make sure that the casing strip is sewn in and we're ready to move to the next step. Now that we've secured that casing strip in at the top here, we're just going to pull this right sides out and just give that a quick press along the top there to hold that in place. You could top stitch now, but I would wait until we actually have the bag fully constructed so that you could just top stitch around in one loop. I'm just pressing it into place now to make it easier to move to this next step. When we have this done, we just need to flip this back right sides together, and we're going to sew down the side of each bag. I also decided to attach my little Quilting Basics label, and you'll see me placing that on the lining side of the bag, and I actually wanted it to poke out on the outside, so I should have pinned it to the outside fabric. For some reason I start doing that, as you can see me here, and then I move it so it ends up on the inside of the bag. But if you have any other tag or anything that you'd like to put on your bag, now is the time to do that. Now when we stitch these side seams, on one side we are going to go the whole way down, securing it completely, but on the other side we need to leave an opening so that we can turn this right sides out again once these two seams are sewn. With those two seams done, and remembering that we left an opening on the lining side of one of the seams that we just did, we need to cut a 1-inch square from all four corners of our bag here so that we can create a base or do what we call a box corner. Now we just want to take 1 inch out, and ignoring the seam allowance, we line up the 1 inch on the base of our bag and the 1 1/4 inch with the edge of our fabric and trim that out. That way we have an exact 1 inch to box the corner. We'll do that on all four of our corners, and then I'll show you how that you manipulate the fabric to stitch that seam. With our corners now cut, we need to box these to take them to the machine and sew across so that we get a gusseted base on our bag. So to do that, we just open it up and we'll line up the crease from the bottom that we have there with our seam line, and you'll see that that creates a straight line across for us to take to the machine and stitch. And we will do this on all four of our corners to create a base for the bag. With all 4 of those corners now boxed, we just need to very carefully turn this right sides out and pull all of our corners into position, and we'll get ready for threading the cord through our casing. For where we left the opening on the inside that we just used to turn this out, I'm just going to press those seam allowances into place, and I'll come back and slip stitch that opening closed at a later stage. With everything turned right side out and everything lined up to perfection, the actual construction of the bag is done. How easy is that? As I mentioned before, you may want to top stitch all the way around this edge at the top there just to hold it nice, and you will notice that I have quite a large gap on either end of my casings because, as I mentioned in the beginning, I turned it under a full inch instead of just 1/2 of an inch, so don't do what I do. Anyway, we just now need to thread our cords through the top of this, and you do that in a U shape, going from the left, looping that around, coming back out the same side, and then going in on the right, looping around and going out that same side again, and then tying a knot in either end of those cords, and your drawstring bag is done. So how easy is that? And the best thing too is you can just make it using fat quarters. So simple and really quick. The most difficult part, if you want to look at it like that, is threading the cords through. So, you know, once you know how, you won't be stopped from making many, many more for many years to come. That's it for this week, folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again real soon.